it almost seems like you want to believe, you wish it were true. Is that fair language to ascribe to you?
I think that you need to come to Christ because you want to and think that it's the right thing to do, not because...
Alex, you might have enough confidence that maybe there's this mystery of the resurrection. It just may be true. That if you were to start actually practicing...
Ruslan.
Okay, let me pitch this to you as a non-combative non-believer, okay? And I feel like you've said stuff like, I want to believe. I think in your conversation with Ayaan Hirsi Ali, like, I want to believe, but I just can't. And so
yes, non-resistant it's a term from J.L. Schellenberg, and I'm certainly combative in many respects, but
okay, non-resistant
is a different thing, I think. Yeah.
Okay, so non-resistant, you are combative, obviously within this entire back and forth about the West stuff, but non-resistant, non-believer, and it again in that conversation with Ayaan Hirsi Ali, like it really did seem like it almost seems like you want to believe, you wish it were true. Is that fair language to ascribe to you?
I think that's true of the New Testament. I think that's true of the person of Jesus and his historical significance as the Son of God. Yeah.
Okay. So
I don't know. I don't think that's true of the Hebrew Bible. I'm not sure that's true of some of the later additions to the Christian doctrine.
Okay. So let me present this theory to you, and you tell me if you like it, you could hate it. Mm-hmm. So when I think of faith, right? Like I don't think faith as something that is necessarily binary. I don't think as faith as certainty. When I think of faith, I think faith as trust or confidence in, right? And so if I'm looking for something that I want, I have to have a degree of confidence in it and then apply it, meaning that Jesus said, if you have the faith of a mustard seed, you can say this mountain move, right? And so if I'm looking at something that I want to accomplish, I want to get into more physically better shape. I want to get shredded, right? And my friend who's in good shape, he's a trainer, he's telling me, hey, Ruslan, like, you got to cut out the processed food. You got to eat more chicken, got to eat more broccoli, right? You got to eat, and you got to go strength training to do these things. Now, that on the surface sounds like a terrible idea. I got to eat more broccoli. I got to eat more chicken. I got to lift heavy things. I got to do hard. None of this sounds fun. But I have enough faith, Alex. I got just enough faith that, well, you know what? He has the abs and he has the physique, and it seems like he's gotten the results that I want. So my little bit of faith, I start applying the information that I have available to me, eating the chicken, eating the broccoli, doing my compound lifts, overhead press, bench press, pull up, deadlift, squat, and I start programming. Yeah. I start programming my workout. And then all of a sudden what happens is I do that long enough. Some people do 75 hard, other people commit to a very long time. And then in hindsight, I look back and 6 months later, 12 months later, 3 months later, all of a sudden, Alex, I have abs. All of a sudden, there's a physical transformation that's happened to my body, and I'm pumped. I'm like, man, this is great. So now I'm on the other side of it. I had enough faith to say, I think there's something to this. He seems to have what I want. It seems to make sense on paper, but I'm not sure because chicken and broccoli and lifting sounds terrible. And I walk through the process. Now I'm on the other side of the process, and I've applied the process. And I've done this multiple times. I've done the transformation thing. And as I'm looking back in hindsight, that is where the certainty comes in for me. Meaning that there's nothing no one can tell me that's going to be contrary. Even if you gave me the best pitch for veganism, I'm going to be like, bro, chicken and broccoli works. I know it works. Sure. I know it works. I've applied it. I've lived it. I've did the bench press. I've did the squat. I've did the programming. It works. I got the results. And I know how to walk through this process and to get the said results based on the little bit of confidence that I had that what my friend was telling me was true and not a lie. Now, I'm not trying to parallel this to salvation in Jesus. I'm not trying to say that this is about the gospel. I'm just presenting you an idea that if you want to believe, have you ever thought about practicing as a Christian, going to church, doing the thing with a little bit of faith? I feel like you might, Alex, you might have enough confidence that maybe there's this mystery of the resurrection. It just may be true. That if you were to start actually practicing the Christian disciplines of church, worship, liturgy, confession, Bible study, that perhaps you walk through that for 6 months, you walk through that for a year, and then you look back in hindsight and you go, man, there's something transformative to this thing. And I still have questions and there's still mysteries, but there's something transformative to this. It is Jesus thing, to Jesus living the life I couldn't live, dying to death I should have died on the cross in my place for my sins, rising on the third day, giving me a new heart, and giving me an ability to usher in heaven and goodness and beauty on this side of eternity. Have you ever explored actually applying that and walking it out, and then saying, well, let me test and see? I have a massive update for you. I'm sure by this point you've heard about the Blessed God Summit happening March 27th, 28th, 29th here in beautiful Carlsbad, California. But we've heard your requests. We've conceded to your demand. There are virtual tickets that are now available for the Blessed God Summit, so you can access it from anywhere in the world, as well as access to the replays. And for those of you guys that are looking for something extra, we're also offering a virtual ticket and an exclusive Blessed God Summit merch bundle. There's some amazing art and some exclusive pieces done by our friend Josh Nadeau from Sword and Pencil that you have to check out. So join us online for the virtual event and experience some sessions from my favorite podcasters, pastors, and performers. We have a stacked lineup. I'm talking about Preston Perry, Dr. Sean McDowell, Inspiring Philosophy. What do you mean? Lila Rose, Alan Parr and his wife Jen Parr. We even have Nate Sala from Wise Disciple, Gavin Ortland, David Wood, Avery from God Logic Apologetics. And on the pastoral side, we have my friend Daniel Golding, Pastor Ed Newton from CBC in San Antonio, and my personal pastor from Rhythm Church, Pastor Jeff Moores and his wife Erin Moores. You won't want to miss out from amazing performances from America's Got Talent winner Dustin Savella, Billboard charting hip-hop artist John Keith and Miles Minnick, and as seen on Jordan Peterson's We Who Wrestle with God tour, Dirt Poor Robbins. And we're still finalizing a few more speakers. So head over to blessgod.shop, get your virtual ticket now, and you can get yourself a bundle with some of the exclusive merch as well. I'll see you over there, all right? Peace. And how do you like that version of faith, by the way? Because this is a very Jordan Peterson, very pragmatic version of faith.
When you say that what your friend said is true, you either mean it's true that by eating those foods and doing the weight training, you're going to get the physique, or you mean it's true that you're going to like it. Those are two different things, right? And I'm not sure exactly which it was.
I probably will hate it. I'll hate it. Yeah, I hated it at first.
So as in that you'll like it when it's done, like you'll like the life that it leads to.
I like the way it feels after a week of no sugar. I like the way it feels after a month of strength training.
The way you say, like, oh, I'm not sure if I believe my friend, but then I try it. It's like, well, I know for a fact that if you are in a calorie surplus and you weight train, you put on weight. If you're in a calorie detriment, or whatever the word is, deficit, and if you're just in a calorie deficit, forget the weight training, you lose weight. Like, that is just a fact. That's true, and you don't need to experience it to know that that's true. It's just demonstrable. To know whether you would prefer a certain kind of physique, like that's a totally different kind of thing. And I understand that you're not going to know that until you've actually done it. Unfortunately, I think that like the equivalent of like eating your broccoli and your chicken with religion are things which are sometimes kind of conceptually impossible. So prayer is quite important to a Christian lifestyle. And I think that in many ways, depending on the kind of person you are, prayer can be conceptually impossible if you don't already believe in God, because you can like go through the motions, but a Christian can do that too, and they wouldn't properly be praying because they're not actually talking to God. They're just saying words, right? You need to actually believe in some sense that you're communing with God. And try as I might, I cannot muster that kind of even like temporary trial belief, because I don't believe that it's true.
Not even a God, if you're real, reveal yourself. If you're real, reveal yourself to me. Jesus, if you're real, reveal yourself to me, and I'm open to it.
Yeah, that's
and
fine.
then you start walking it out. Like you've never you can't even bring yourself to do that. Is what I'm asking you.
Again, it depends what you mean by walking it out, because I have
going to church, reading, praying, confession. Like I'm just giving you the basics of the Christian.
And I've read and I've prayed and I've done all of these things to
as a
varying
practice,
degrees.
Though? Like as a for the next 90 days, I'm gonna pretend to be Christian.
I mean, as a practice, because also thou shalt not put thy Lord to the test. Like it starts to feel like somebody recommended to me once that you should sort of film it. You should like I had this idea. I was like, I could do a video where I like live as a Christian for like a week or a month or something, and just sort of vlog how it affects my life. It could be interesting. But I suddenly realized the moment
90 days will
filming
take.
it. The moment you're filming it, the moment you're doing it like with this scientific motivation, it kind of undermines it because your motives are off. I think that you need to come to Christ because you want to and think that it's the right thing to do, not because you just I think it's very difficult to just entertain things that you can't think are true. You can entertain them in the sense that they might be true, and you say, well, God, if you're there, then I hope you're listening to me. But you can't actually think you're like praying to God. And so something, depending on what you mean by prayer, it kind of becomes conceptually impossible. It's possible to go to church, but it's not possible to experience communion. I mean, Catholics, for example, wouldn't even like want you to go up because you're not a Catholic. But even if you were like in some church which allowed you to partake in the memorial, like I'm like, well, I don't believe that this happened. I don't believe that this is doing this. I don't believe you can go through the motions, but it almost feels actually kind of offensive to do that because you're like, because you're just doing a parody.
Yeah, we'll give you a pass. You can go through the motions.
Christian YouTube.
So seriously, I mean to say that like I probably haven't to the extent that you would feel content that I've tried my best, but it's not like I'm just been sitting around twiddling my thumbs all these years. But also the point to bring up is that I hear the same kind of testimony from all kinds of people about all kinds of things. I felt the same way as a vegan. You will never look back. Like, I cannot believe that I was eating meat. Like, this is unbelievable. I'm never going to, like, the rest of my life will be dedicated to this. And then, well, maybe not. I hear Muslims say the same thing. Like, bro, you just got it. Like, you've just got to try it, man. I think if you started coming to masjid, bro, you'd be like, oh man, you don't even know, like, you'd be the greatest Muslim. Like, it's like, okay, man, maybe that's true. Like, maybe that's actually true. And I actually think that if I were to start going to masjid and I started to hang out with Muslim circles and grow out my beard and all this kind of stuff, I'd probably start thinking, yeah, man, like, okay, this is kind of cool. I'm into this, you know, because like the people that you're with and the actions that you participate in just define the person that you are. Show me your friends and I'll show you the man. That's the idea.
Sure.
And so I don't think there's anything special about Christianity in that case. So, given my special interest in Christianity, it makes sense for me to sort of try that in particular. But like in my position as like as a non-believer and a non-resistant non-believer, I should be giving about as much time to any other world religion or ideology.
I feel like you've conceded that Christianity is superior to other religions, though, in some sense. Like just your explanation for why the resurrection is true, it seems like you know that there is at least a mystery there that might be onto something. So
it kind of depends what you mean.
If it is superior or better or adds more net positive than other religions, and maybe you're not saying this, but like the Christian doesn't experience doubt. The Christian doesn't experience dry patches of their faith. The Christian doesn't have certainty on all these things. Like we're all working out our salvation with fear and trembling.
You mean the Christian does have doubt, right? You mean the Christian
yeah.
does...
Sorry, I misspoke. Thank you. Yeah, we wrestle as well. Like we all wrestle through these things. And what I'm not saying is like we who wrestle with God. What I'm not saying is check your brain out, because I saw Derek from Myth Vision always stirring the pot in here. We're not saying check your brain out and just follow your heart. I'm saying it's and both. I'm saying it's you walk it out, and as I walk it out, the more the faith grows. The more I practice, the more it grows. The more I practice, the more it grows. That is what I was getting to. But if you're like, hey, I have on this level, and I can't bring myself to prayer, I understand, and I would say that sounds like people just need to continue praying for you. You know what I mean? I think people need to continue praying for you, and I genuinely believe that if you wanted Jesus to reveal himself to you and you asked, I think he would. Now I think that would be complicated for you, but maybe it wouldn't. You know, I don't know what that looks like. So this is me.
People are indeed welcome to keep praying for me. I do wish they'd stop putting their hands on me while they do it, though.
You don't like that part?
No, I respect that.
Okay.
Zach
doesn't like that.
I'm with you on that.
It just feels a little bit awkward. It's sort of like when everyone's saying happy birthday to
Apologies.
you, except it's not even your actual birthday. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Apologies on behalf of all charismatics. Hey, thank you so much for checking out the video. Please be sure to comment below and subscribe and all that good stuff. And check out this other video that YouTube seems to be recommending just for you. Let me know if they nailed it. All right? I'll see you over there. Peace.